As a woman who is striving for financial success, healthy relationships, physical and mental health, and ultimately trying to build a life you love, there's a lot of wins, losses, and lessons along the way. So in this video, I want to share with you 10 realizations that I have had to learn the hard way and the long way to cultivating a life that I love. My hope is to save you some time, heartache, and maybe even years of trial and error, all in the next 10 minutes. So let's dive in. Lesson 1. Environment shapes your growth. Think about a goldfish. Its size is dictated by the tank or the pond that it lives in. If it's in a small tank, it stays small. In open waters, it grows to its full potential. This isn't something that the fish consciously controls. It simply adapts to its environment. And in a similar way, our growth is shaped by the environment and the people around us. Consider the people in your life. Do they make you feel inspired, motivated, and open to possibilities? Or do they drain your energy and pull you back into your comfort zone? Are you surrounded by people who challenge you to think bigger and be better, or those who subtly reinforce your limitations? Environment is everything, but the trick is changing our environment isn't always about physically moving or cutting people off. Sometimes it's about finding small ways to bring in more of the energy we crave. It could be as simple as creating a dedicated space for work that inspires you, or connecting with people who share your passions and values, even online. Little by little, these changes create the tank where your potential can expand, allowing you to grow freely. Lesson 2. Progress is found in small steps. It's easy to feel like we need to make massive leaps to change our lives. We're so often drawn to these stories of overnight success, these quick transformations that seem almost magical. But real progress, it's quiet, it's steady. It's not about the grand gestures, it's about small, consistent actions that build up over time. James Clear presents this really well in this example. If you improve by 1% each day, by the end of the year, you're 37 times better than when you started. Tiny incremental steps are the foundation of true lasting transformation. If you're working towards a healthier body, don't worry about massive physical progress overnight. Start with one small habit, like doing some kind of movement each day or eating some form of fruit and vegetables with every meal. Or if you're building healthier relationships, focus on small acts of listening and understanding and showing up consistently. These little steps feel manageable, yet they create momentum. Before you know it, those tiny changes compound and the life you dream of doesn't feel so far away. Lesson 3. Every day is a choice to reinforce who you're becoming. Every day, you're presented with choices, and each choice you make is an opportunity to stack evidence for the woman you want to become. Every choice you make, no matter how small, either reinforces or detracts from the identity you're building. By consistently aligning your actions with your goals and values, you're creating proof that supports your desired self-image. This isn't about perfection, but rather about small intentional actions. Choosing to read instead of scrolling, or practicing patience instead of reacting impulsively to things. Over time, these small choices compound, creating a foundation of habits and beliefs that bring you closer to the person you envision. Life isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Each choice is kind of like casting a vote for the person you're becoming. So as you go through your day, remember that every choice is another step towards that vision, another piece of evidence for the woman you're growing into. Lesson 4. Changing your mind is growth, not weakness. There's a quote by George Bernard Shaw that I love. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. We often think that changing our minds is a sign of weakness or inconsistency. But what if instead it's actually a sign of growth? A sign that we're evolving. Changing your mind doesn't mean you're backtracking. It means you're open to growth, to learning, to updating your beliefs as you gain new information. Think of it as a software update. Just like we update our phones, our minds need these updates too. Maybe there's a goal or belief you've held onto for years, something you thought defined you. But as you grow, you realize it no longer fits. It's okay to let it go, to shift your perspective, to embrace new beliefs. Growth requires flexibility. So give yourself the opportunity to change, to adapt, and to embrace the fluidity that personal growth requires of us. Lesson 5. Fear is often a mirage. A famous philosopher once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Fear has this way of creeping in, casting so much doubt over our dreams and making even the simplest decisions feel daunting. And so often the things we fear most are exaggerations of our mind, these illusions that hold us back from taking real steps towards what we want. Fear is like one of those mirrors they have at fairs or carnivals. It distorts reality, making risks seem way bigger and outcomes seem scarier. But think about the last time you faced a fear. Was the outcome really as bad as you imagined it would be? Most of the time, the worst case scenarios we play in our minds never even come true. But yet those fears keep us from moving forward, from taking the steps that might just change our lives. So the next time fear starts to creep into your mind, ask yourself, what am I not doing because I'm afraid? Take a deep breath, really examine that fear and consider the costs of not taking action. Most of the time we find that our fears are pretty flimsy, built more on imagination than reality. And when we move through them, we unlock doors we never thought were possible. Lesson 6, don't confuse movement with progress. I bet over the past week or so, when someone asked how you were, you responded with the word busy. In a world that celebrates busyness, it's easy to fall into the trap of constant movement and mistaking it for actual progress. How often do we fill our days with random tasks, activities, and to-dos, only to end up feeling like we haven't moved an inch closer to our goals? Being busy doesn't mean you're going anywhere. It's like sitting on a rocking horse. You're always moving, but you're not actually progressing. True progress is intentional. It's about focusing on the things that matter, not just the things that make you feel productive. Take the time to reflect. Are the actions you're taking actually moving you closer to your goals? Or are they just keeping you occupied and busy? Maybe it's time to let go of the busyness and focus on the essentials, the actions that will truly make a difference in your life. Because real progress is not found in doing everything, but in doing the right things. Lesson 7, perspective is everything. Imagine there are 2 salesmen sent to a village. They are there to do some research on whether there is a market for the company they work for to sell shoes there. When they both get there, they realize no one in the village wears shoes at all. One salesman sees no opportunity and reports back that nobody here wears shoes. The other salesman sees potential and reports back, nobody here wears shoes yet. Our perspective is the lens through which we see the world. It can make or break how we experience life, how we respond to challenges, and how we view possibilities. The same situation can be seen as an obstacle or an opportunity, depending on how we choose to look at it. The truth is, life is full of challenges and setbacks, but if we train ourselves to see them as opportunities for growth, we unlock a new way of being. Perspective can transform our lives in really profound ways, allowing us to see possibilities where other people see limitations. So choose a perspective that empowers you, one that opens up potential instead of closing doors. Lesson 8, there's always a reason not to start. Life is full of reasons to hold back, to wait, to put things off. I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time. But once one reason is pushed past, another one will just take its place. I'm too young just turns into I'm too old. If we look for reasons not to start, we'll always find them. Every single time. But the truth is, if we keep waiting for the perfect time, we may be waiting forever. There will never be a time when all the stars align, when every doubt disappears and every challenge melts away. Growth requires us to move forward in spite of these reasons, to take the leap even when things aren't perfect. So instead of waiting for the right time, create it. Start where you are with what you have. Don't let excuses keep you from pursuing what you truly want, because the perfect time doesn't exist. It's up to you to make this moment the right one. Lesson 9, growth happens quietly. Growth doesn't usually look like a sudden burst of progress. It's more like the quiet, steady growth of a tree, unseen, but always moving upwards. To us, growth can feel painfully slow, especially when we're eager for results. But just like the tree, our progress is happening, whether we see it or not. Think of the moments you feel stagnant, the days that feel ordinary. These are often the moments when real growth is happening. It's not the big achievements, but the quiet, persistent efforts that move us forward. We may not see the changes day to day, but over time, if we look back, we realize how much we've grown. Growth is a process, not a destination. It's a journey of slow, steady progress. Trust that it's happening, even when it feels invisible, like the roots of a tree. One day you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Lesson 10, be ready for change. Change requires being ready for it. It's one thing to want a better life, but it's another thing to be truly prepared for it. If you're constantly doubting yourself, holding on to old fears, and sabotaging your own progress, then you're not fully open to the life you want yet. There's this paradox when it comes to change. It can be just as exciting as it is terrifying. We want the new job that has more prestige and pays well, but the idea of a new role and new co-workers is intimidating. We want something new, but part of us resists because it requires letting go of the old. Deep down, some of us are afraid of just how good things could be. But real transformation demands that we let go, that we allow ourselves to move beyond our comfort zone and old ways. Ask yourself, am I ready for change? Let go of the doubts and the need for certainty, because the life you want is waiting, just on the other side of fear and resistance. All you have to do is be ready to embrace it. So these are the 10 lessons that took me over a decade to learn. Each of these realizations has helped me to grow, to deepen, and to build a life that feels true to who I am. And I hope they resonate with you too. Growth is not a destination. It's a journey, one with detours, with moments of clarity and moments of doubt. But with each step, you're moving closer to the life you envision, the person you want to become. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Love you.